Okay, today we're going to show you how to install the pedal master cylinder adapter kit. In this case it's to a Nissin master cylinder. Okay, we've already removed the reservoir lid and the diaphragm, but we're retaining the bolts, original bolts out of that because we use those in the adapter. So I find it easier to actually remove the whole of the master cylinder, and in that way we can see what's going on. Remove these bolts. Removes the split pin, removes the pin itself. Then what I do is tip most of the fluid out that's in there without actually pumping the unit dry. So we just tip it out, and in that way we can see down to the bottom, which is where we've got to see, because what we've got to do is install the O-ring right down the bottom of the master cylinder reservoir area before we put in the adapter. Okay, so now my hands have got some dirt on them from working on the bike, so I don't want to get any dirt in there at all, so we make sure that everything's nice and clean before we install the O-ring. Okay, so then if we pop the O-ring in and then gently with something like a screwdriver we push it all the way down to the very bottom of it. Now it's a little finicky. You've got to make sure that it's seated all the way down the bottom before you put the cylinder in. I'd recommend using a torch so you can look down into the reservoir section of the master cylinder to ensure that the O-ring is correctly on the bottom of the cylinder before putting in the adapter. With the O-ring correctly inserted in the bottom of the cylinder, we now insert the adapter and just gently push that down. Okay, so if you hold the unit from below and then just firmly push down and rotate it slightly, you'll find it'll slot into place. And then you've got to line the bolts up like so. Then we use the standard retaining screws off the original reservoir lid. Tighten these bolts up, making sure that we do it evenly. Till they're bottomed, firm. Then we place one of the sealing washers onto the banjo bolt. Place the banjo bolt through the banjo fitting, the other sealing washer, and then we screw the banjo bolt in. And we tighten the banjo bolt up. We're just going to leave it slightly loose at the moment. Okay, now we're going to reinstall the pedal master cylinder, but first of all we'll just place a drop of Loctite on each of these bolts. Make sure that that's in position. Okay, I've just put a little bit of grease on this pivot pin. We return that to its correct position, and then we put the split pin back through the hole there. Okay, now we make sure that the fitting is correctly angled to clear everything, so that we can then, whilst holding it in position, tighten it firmly.